So here are some tips for you as a beginner studying the Bible. The Bible is one of the funnest, wisest books that you could read. Now, I'm going to break down some stories in the Bible where if you read a scripture, everyone will get a different meaning out of that scripture than what you thought that scripture meant. And sometimes in the scripture, there's different meanings and different words that you're reading, and it's meaning something to you, but there's a whole other meaning, spiritual meaning to that word, like water. Many people will see water in the Bible and just think as it as a liquid to drink. But sometimes water in the Bible refers to life. In all actuality, water does give us life because most of our body is made up of water. And if you don't have water in a certain amount of days, you're not going to be here. When you come to the Bible and when you open it up, the number one thing that you have to place in your mind is when you're reading the Bible, it is for you. It is up to you. Now, what I'm meaning by that is there's different scriptures in the Bible that tell you how people in the Bible handle different situations. But ultimately, when that situation is presented to you, it's up to you on how you're going to handle that situation. They handled the situation in the Bible the way they thought they should have handled that situation. And the way that you're going to handle the situation doesn't make it right or wrong. It's just the way that you handled it. And you could handle it the same way, or you could not. Here's an example of how you could handle the situation and certain meanings that you could take from the scripture. It's a story in the Bible where Jacob and his mother, Rachel, deceived their husband, Isaac, and also their brother, Esau, and regarding the birthright. Many people can take different meanings from that story. One time I read it, and I got a meaning that from Esau's side, no matter what is supposed to be given to you in life, it just might not be given to you. You really, really have to be on your P's and Q's, and you might have to take it. Esau sat back, gave up his birthright. Jacob did not go down the chain of command. He should have checked in with his father in regards to what happened between him and Esau. But he knew it wasn't right because he knew that he had to deceive his father to make him believe that he was Esau. And as you read the story down the line, Jacob was so guilty that when he met his brother, he gave him back gifts of the birthright that he took from him. So that story, many people can interpret it many different ways. Don't give up your birthright. Don't easily sign over what is due to you. But in that scripture, it was deception, jealousy, going down the chain of command to head of household, which this shouldn't even have been done. And God shouldn't even had even allowed this, but it was allowed. When you read the Bible in its old text, you're going to get different meanings, and that is okay. So a lot of people go to church and they think, well, my pastor is going to break down these scriptures. Most of the time, when they're reading the scripture, they're breaking down the scripture on their opinion and how they see things. Now, is your view, you have a different view and your pastor have a different view, does that make your view wrong? No, it does not. That's just how the moral of the story goes. It's just like life. Certain things might happen and people have a different view of what happened, and you might have your own view. So that's basically how the Bible is. Now, when the Bible comes to pertaining to God, the Bible will give you all explanations where God is, who is God, how do you reach God, how do you please God. But when you come to the Bible, it is solely up to you. You are the most important factor. You was here before the Bible was even here. So you are the walking Bible. Your soul, your spirit It is a walking Bible. I would want you to tap into yourself first, because the Bible doesn't give you a vast amount of scriptures on how to tap into yourself and to reveal who you are. It gives you stories, it gives you principles, it gives you laws, it gives you government, it gives you a whole host of things, but it doesn't give you you. And frankly, before you find God, before you know where God is, you have to find yourself and know where you are. And once you know where you are in life, once you read those scriptures, you might get a different meaning depending on where you are in life. Later on down the road, you might be in a different place in life, and you might get a different meaning of the same scripture you read 2 years ago. And that's okay, because that's your interpretation. If the Bible was supposed to be interpreted the same way by everyone, God in his whole mastery and whole master plan would have let that happen. But once we read something, once we see something, we draw our own interpretation. And that is correct if you have your own idea of scripture. Now, there's going to be certain meanings in scriptures, like in the beginning, where the snake meets Eve and Adam. It's a whole symbolic scripture, symbolic meaning. The snake is symbolic. So certain scriptures are going to be symbolic. You can't take it as face value, or you can take it as face value and draw up your own idea or your own understanding of it. I'm going to be breaking down biblical principles and breaking down these scriptures from my point of view. And if you agree with my point of view, then you continue to watch the channel, continue to follow, and I do appreciate it. I'm out.